Welcome to John Munn's Studio. I'm John Munns. Today I'd like to share with you some ideas I have about planning your portrait. Family portrait planning is very important. If you plan your family portrait properly, you're going to end up with something on the wall that you're truly going to cherish for years to come. I firmly believe that if you begin with the end in mind, that you will get so much better results. That photograph will not only look like it was made for that space, we'll make it to the exact size and dimensions so it will actually fit that space perfectly, even including the framing. And we can help you with all that. All this pre-portrait planning is really important to understand where, first of all, you will be installing these portraits. If you figure out in your home whether you want to put it over the couch, in the dining room, couch is not in the dining room, I know, over the couch in the living room or in the dining room, or maybe in the family room, could help you determine how casual of a portrait or formal you would like your portrait to be. Now once you decide on the location of your portrait or portraits, then you may decide whether you want to do an outdoors photograph, maybe at the beach, or maybe you'd like to do something at your favorite park, or maybe something right in your home or in your backyard. All these ideas are great, and I think if you kind of begin with the end in mind, you will end up with much better results. So if you can kind of visualize with me, please, those things. And then once we determine the location, only then do we talk about the clothing, because in my opinion, the clothing needs to blend with whatever location you're in. And the reason for that is if your clothing blends with the environment, then the attention is focused on the faces. And after all, that's what we're all about. We're all about people, we're all about portraits here, and it's really, the face is the most important thing. Even though we have this beautiful environment, it's these expressions that your family and friends are going to look at when they come in and see this beautiful photograph on the wall. Well, this particular example here I'd like to share with you. These people live at the beach. And so for them, this was just such an appropriate photograph because this is their lifestyle. They are at the beach. And their home had massive walls with high ceilings. So right away, I knew that we'd probably have to fill up some of that space vertically. And so I chose to photograph them in a vertical format instead of horizontally, which we normally do for portraits. But it makes it kind of unique, and I like doing different things, so that's fun. But after that, what I want you to look at is the uniformity of the clothing. Having the uniformity of clothing helps you focus on these beautiful faces. Also, I'd like to mention here that their home was not real casual, but they chose traditional clothing, which will never go out of style. Now, if you come over here with me, I'd like to show you this example of a photograph that is installed in their home. And they wanted something that showed a little bit more nautical versus neutral tones. And because the colors in this photograph are coordinated, it still makes for a very, very beautiful photograph, and they love this photograph. Over here I'd like to share with you kind of a little bit different style of portraiture. And even though we did a beach portrait that they installed in their dining room, this portrait was actually installed in their den, where they had green leather, and the actual accents in the room were the same colors that you find in this photograph. Now also, one thing I'd like to point out in this photograph is how much harmony we have in the colors from the background and the clothing here, which still focuses your attention on the face, on the faces. Actually, I say face, and I mean really because it focuses on his face. This young man was totally about baseball. His parents totally supported his baseball, He was a great baseball player in high school, went on to play in college, and loves the sport. And they just loving him in the sport. And that's what this portrait exemplifies. And I think it's just a great example of how you can take a photograph and create something that will really look great in the environment. Next time we see you, we'll be talking about further things that we will be focusing on as far as planning your portrait and why to use John Munn's studio. But I just want to share with you a couple of testimonies I've gotten from clients in the past. Wow, where did you get that photograph? Or, is that a painting? Thank you so much. I appreciate you visiting. Have a great day.